Watch Who?
Hello.
And welcome to Watch Who, a Doctor Who podcast. I'm Mark.
I'm Sarah.
And I'm a Doctor Who fan.
And I'm new to watching Who.
Watching for the very first time.
I can't sing that right now.
I've
got a mouth full of crisps.
Oh, no. Well, it's the beginning of the season. You got to do it.
Give me a sec. Let me just... Very first time.
Hey! And with that note, season 20 is open. The season doesn't start until Sarah sings.
God. No? I was just finishing my quinoa crisps.
Well, we're here. We're in this crypt in Amsterdam. I thought it was the best place to start recording.
Yeah, fair.
Like, the sound was probably quite good, being underground. It's a bit drafty.
Not like, well, it'd be a bit cooler than today as we're recording. It's bloody boiling today.
Yeah, it's been very hot weather. I don't really have that much in terms of updates because I haven't had time to watch anything else.
I started watching Jury Duty.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I watched a couple of episodes of that, yeah.
I'm enjoying that. That's great. Like, really enjoying it. I've just done the episode that they go to Margaritaville.
Oh, I think you're ahead of me now.
I finished Gilmore Girls again. So that's been my gym workout. I download an episode and I go to the gym. I don't know. Do you know what? I think it's like I normally do it once a year. And for whatever reason this year, I've done it like 4 times, like a full run of it. But I've officially finished that today. I finished it. And season 7 is such a slog because it's terrible. But I got through it. So yeah, that's my update. I haven't really got all else. No. My cat turned 3. There's a balloon in the background.
Yay. We'll just go straight into the Doctor Who talk then.
Sure, let's do it.
Well, if you're a new listener for this season, this is a Doctor Who podcast and we are watching through Doctor Who.
Me for the first time.
Yeah, I suppose we've already said that, haven't we? No, I wish no.
Hey, Mark, keep it.
Well, no, I was just thinking if anyone was joining, we haven't done like a welcome new listeners. You might be starting with season 20. I don't know why.
You might be,
I just thought it was an opportunity.
Might be favourite season. Okay. Yeah, I hear you.
But I've just realised we did explain that in the intro anyway, so there's not really much point. This is a podcast where we talk about Doctor Who. There we go. And it's season 20. 20 years of Doctor Who. We are celebrating. This will be a very positive, celebratory season, hopefully.
Oh, I hope so.
Oh, actually, before we start, can I just do celery watch? Have you noticed the celery yet?
I did. I nearly messaged you. I was like, I've seen the fucking celery. Thank God. It's taken me a whole season.
Oh, one whole season without seeing the celery. I don't know how, but it was...
I just never took attention to it.
Good. I'm glad. I'll do a tick there on my notes that says celery.
Drama for the new season on BBC One. The start of a new series of Doctor Who, starring Peter Davison.
I can't control the TARDIS.
Can't you override the controls?
I just tried.
Doctor! What is it?
Something's coming through.
A materialization?
No, extra-dimensional.
Doctor Who returns tonight at 6:45 on BBC One.
Well, it's Arc of Infinity. This one, I only actually watched this all today.
Oh, really?
I was putting it off a little bit because I thought it wasn't that great. There are elements that aren't that great. It's not like everybody's favourite or anything like that.
No,
so I watched it all today. Did you do it all in one go?
No, I did 1 and 2 together, and then 3, big break, 4. I watched 4 in the bath, actually. I was like, come on, let's just get this done. And I'll tell you what, I'm really jumping here. That 4th episode was the most frustrating thing ever.
Oh, yeah. It's a frustrating story overall, I think.
It's a really frustrating story. Like, I started skipping because I was like, nothing is happening here. They are just running around.
Oh my God, don't say that. We'll get messages being like, you're not watching it properly.
I skipped like 10 seconds. I'd be watching. I was like, nope, they're still just running around Holland. Nope, still just running around Holland. Because that running around went on for like 10 minutes, I feel. I was like, I watched it. I was like, what is this achieving? Like, other than showing us different parts of Holland. It was so padding. It was so paddy. And I was like, oh my gosh, just fucking catch him. 10 seconds ahead. No, we still haven't caught him. I'd watch a bit more, be like, no. Oh, now it's a dog barking at him. Is this going to be it? No. Okay, fucking hell. Like, it was painful.
Well, it's written by the same guy that wrote Keeper of Traken.
Okay.
Which was Nyssa's first.
Did he know there was going to be that much padding?
I don't know. I think it was let's go to Amsterdam for the sake of it. There wasn't any reason to. And he got asked to set it in Amsterdam because they wanted to go on a holiday, I think. Again, when they went to Paris, I think it was just like, let's show off the location. But let's start at the beginning.
And all of our budget now on this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, a season opener, maybe. We're going to Amsterdam. Maybe that's what it was. It's not the strongest for a season opener, but we start off with... Well, actually, we left last time with Tegan being left behind.
Happy landings, Doctor.
And she doesn't appear in that first episode at all.
No. Were you waiting for that?
No. I was fully expecting, like, I was committed to her not returning, especially we've not seen her at all in that first episode. I was like, yeah, she'll be back for at some point, maybe. Well, I think I knew she'd sort of be back because I know she comes in she returned in the new series, and I was like, she must be a big enough character to be returning. So I was like, she'll come back at some point, but I wasn't expecting it at all, this story. So, and she looks completely different.
Well, I can't do Tegan timeline anymore because it's been a long time, probably. It's been a long time. But, well...
She's been fired.
Yes, yeah, and she's got a whole new look. Actually, let's do close watch on that a minute. Did you recognise her?
I did recognise her. It did take me a second, but I did... and because they literally go, Tegan, and like, I'm like, okay, well, that's Tegan. I really hated her outfit. It was like some really weird, busty, misplaced bust-like dress. The bust was awful. It was horrific. And then it was like, it was a dress, wasn't it?
But it's like a boob tube and shorts. It's shorts.
But the boob tube didn't, it was like a bus, it was like a corsety sort of thing rather than a boob tube. And it just didn't line up in any way. It's like someone had like twisted it to the side. It made no sense. I kept looking thinking, it's like she either doesn't have a cleavage to fill it, which could be the case. She's quite small. But like the way, I was like, they could have chose a better outfit for her. It just looked awful.
It's like it's like this corset thing, and then with this little sort of cardigan thing over the top.
Yeah.
And shorts.
Yes. I was like, was it a dress? No, you're right. It's shorts. Yeah.
But was that fashionable in the 80s even?
I mean, maybe, but like, it's just such a strange look. It just doesn't suit her at all. It doesn't flatter her at all. It's not practical for the adventure that they're on, other than the fact it's shorts. At least like when she's on the floor a lot with her cousin and that. Yeah. Oh, no, it was not a great outfit. When she's running, I really, really noticed it when they're just running around Holland and all you can hear is her shoes like flapping away on the ground. And I was just like, it's so weirdly out of, like, if she's traveling and she's traveled to the country to go and see her cousin, I thought she'd be in more travel appropriate attire. She's just arrived off the plane and she's in that same outfit. It's not like she's like been living there a bit, and you know, it's just the weirdest. It's really fucking weird outfit.
Yeah, you wouldn't get on a long plane journey for that, would you? No.
No. She should know. She was an air stewardess.
Well, the Doctor and Nyssa don't mention her at all.
No, well, they mention her a little bit at the start.
Not in that first episode where the Doctor's fixing the TARDIS and doing all that stuff. There's no mention of it at all. It's not like, oh, did we leave Tegan behind? No, we didn't. No, there's nothing. I was listening out for it.
Maybe I just imagined that there was like a line, but
I don't think there is. There's nothing about her, so it could have been a long.
Maybe that's why maybe because I didn't hear that, and like that's why I had that feeling like, well, she's not going to be in this at all. There was not anything.
So I suppose viewers at the time be like, what's going on? Because, well, there is loads of audio adventures set with just the Fifth Doctor and Nyssa in between that gap. So supposedly there's been... there's tons of them. There's so many things that happen in that gap.
I enjoyed seeing, like, behind one of the circles.
Oh yes, yeah, taking that out, doing the fix. There's a lot of sort of continuity stuff. So they mention the Cybermen. They mention all the technical stuff. There's a lot of the Time Lord stuff that we'll get to. There's a lot of past references in this for like fans, and I think the criticism, I think from here onwards, was that they were sort of making it for the fans, all the sort of, I was going to say nerdy fans that would get all of those references and things. And it's sometimes a little bit annoying because it's that over plot and drama and all of that. And I think this is where it starts. It's not that obvious in this one so much, although we've got, Omega and all of that. But it does start off even in that that scene with the Doctor and Nyssa being like, oh, well, you need to fix the audio for the screen, or because the Cybermen did this or this, or this, or how come? And it's sort of like Nyssa's become a Doctor Who fan and is like, actually, Doctor, in this episode in Earthshock, when the Cybermen, why could he shoot his gun in the TARDIS? You need to fix this, and you need to do that. It's just suddenly come like that, where we wouldn't have got that in the past, in like the 70s or anything like that.
Do you think that's because it's the 20th year and they thought people might tune in that maybe haven't watched it for a while?
There's a little bit of that because we had Omega in the 10th anniversary one, so
yeah,
it's that.
Gosh, right.
But I think it just starts to creep into everything from now on, and this is where there's big fandom now in the 80s, and they're writing in and criticising, and they're like, why have you done this? If they did something out of continuity or whatever, the producer would be told about it. It's starting to get a bit more organised fandom around this time, I feel. So I just got that impression in that first.
Well, because the kids have grown up.
Yeah Anyway, so then we're on Gallifrey with the Time Lords, who actually I feel haven't changed since we saw them in the 70s. They look exactly the same. They're not really the 80s Time Lords. They are pretty much the same outfits whenever we saw them last.
But they're supposed to be, aren't they? That's their, it'd be like if Alpha Centauri suddenly turned up wearing like something completely different.
Yeah, I suppose so. And you've got this sort of not who done it, but who is it? Who's the mystery traitor in the Time Lords, and why does he have to wave his pen every time he talks to Omega? Did you see it's like you need to have a shadowy figure who needs to talk. So just express yourself with your hand and holding like a compass or a pencil or something.
I'll be honest, I think it was because there were 4 or 5 conversations. The second to last one, I thought it was the woman.
Oh really? Oh
yeah. And I wondered whether they were getting different people to do it each time. Because obviously they have the voice box over the top, don't they? So that doesn't matter. But I wondered whether, so it was like really inconspicuous. Because it was much lighter, the voice. And I was like, oh, is it going to be her?
Yeah, they put like a filter. They've sort of Mickey Moused it a little bit, haven't they?
Yeah. And I wondered whether to make it like not obvious at all, they got different people to do it and just have a shadowy figure pointing with a pen.
I think it's just the direction in this that I have a problem with, because I just don't think that is directed very well. Just the first time we've got a gloved hand going, well, but then later on, by like the last conversation, he doesn't start speaking until he starts waving his hand. It's like there's nothing else I can do, but so I have to do this. I know this one I never had on video. My friend Tom had it on video and I borrowed it off him, and I was never that impressed. And speaking of Tom,
where we go,
our backpackers, Colin and Robin. So Colin is Tegan's cousin, and Robin is he's just I think he's the worst actor. He's just really annoying. I really don't like.
Yeah, I think
he's awful. That's sort of what Tom looked like a little bit. He probably, I hope he never hears this, but he did look like Robin. He was that one, it's as quiet as the grave. I've got somewhere for us to sleep tonight.
What is that impression?
Oh, come down in the crypt with me. It's all like that. I was like, what is going on there? What are you thinking when you see these guys? It's terrible.
I didn't think it was the impression you've just done.
He's awful. It's so weird. Okay, what do you like? obviously we've got the Australian, who turns out to be Tegan's cousin. So if he's Tegan's cousin, that is her brother or sister's child.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because I was thinking, does Aunt Vanessa? That's her aunt, isn't it? So it's not going to be Aunt Vanessa's kid, is it? No.
No, I think so. Oh my gosh!
Because it's oh no,
no, so
yeah,
it would be.
it would be. It could be.
No, because that'd be if it was her brother sisters, that'd be nieces and nephews, wouldn't it?
No, but her aunt. Hang on, her aunt. Yeah, so it's her aunt is so Tegan's aunt would be her parents' brother or sister, and then their children would be her cousin. So yeah, it could be. Yeah, her cousin is
Right. So I hang on. So let's say you and me are brother and sister. right. Right. Any kids that I have, they would be your nieces or nephews.
I would be their uncle.
Yes, and you'd be the uncle.
Yeah.
Right? So to be cousin, I think if you had kids and I had kids, those kids would be cousins.
Yes, you're right.
But to me, they are my nieces and nephews.
Correct. Okay, so Auntie Vanessa is nothing to do with...
Well, she could be. She could be like the mother of Colin, and that's why they're cousins.
Yeah, the mother of... Yeah, okay, yeah, that's what I thought in the first place. Yeah, we've gone a long way round, but yes.
And then, yeah. Yes.
That works, isn't it?
She could be the mother of Colin, and Tegan's parents are different, like brother, whatever, sister of the other aunt. Yes. Or another relative.
Well, I was going to say, there's no mention of Auntie Vanessa, so it's not like...
Maybe it's another relative.
I'm so sorry about your aunt who got shrunk by the master, but no. But then these two, Colin and Robin, they're an odd couple. I don't think they knew each other. I think they met each other when they were out backpacking around the world and was like,
yeah.
They're just really weird. It's just really weird. And then why would you go and sleep? He's like, oh, I've got somewhere for us to stay tonight in this crypt. Like, it's just so weird, I think.
And I guess if they have absolutely no money, it's somewhere that's safe with a roof over your head.
I know, but I suppose everywhere's booked up or something. Oh, and then he's lost his passport, hasn't he? And he's like, oh,
which comes to nothing.
That doesn't mean no. I know, but it's because that's why.
Unless that's the reason he can't stay in the hotel, because the other guy had a room.
Yeah, that's what I don't. I think he was scared that he was gonna, because he has got a passport. He's gonna be like, but can't you just say I've lost my passport? Can you help me find? He was scared of going to the police or going anywhere else because he's lost his passport. It's like, well, you can't help losing it. It doesn't mean you're like an illegal person there. You're going to get suddenly deported.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, we're talking the 80s. Things might have been a bit different.
I don't know. But I was like, well, if you lost it, you lost it. Just go to the authorities and say, or the embassy or whatever. But anyway, I think maybe that's just a way to get them to go and sleep in the crypt. Well, and then we see our first monster, which is where this story doesn't get a great reputation. So this is the Ergon we're talking about here.
Have we seen them before?
No.
Okay.
It's a weird chicken thing. And it reminds me of, Prawn from Invisible Enemy.
Yeah, you really hate
Which
Prawn.
I really didn't like, and that did not work. This is in the same sort of family as Prawn. But I suppose the good thing about this is...
Chicken love it. It's not a prawn.
At least chicken can walk on its own. If chicken had been like prawn, then prawn wouldn't have been so bad, if you get my meaning.
All I'm thinking of is like a paella right now.
Oh, chicken and prawn.
Same family.
But no,
they're in the same dish.
It's not a big part of the story, but it's just like, this is like end of season, we've run out of money monster.
It's not awful. It's not significant to the story. Like, look, in my head, I was like, it moved. Sometimes they don't move. No one looks clumsy in it. Not like we've seen before. We don't have to have someone being supported by, like, the person they're being attacked by. Do you know? Like, it serves its purpose. It's not the main antagonist of the story either. Like, the main antagonist is... Do I mean that? I do mean that. God, it's been a long day. is Omega. Omega, yeah. That is who is your main bad boy here. They're just the side part. They're just super. It's like with Sandy years ago. What did they have?
Oh my god, how do you remember Sandy? Where the hell has this come from?
I don't know. It just popped in. What were
Everybody's
the things
just stopped and gone, what? Sandy.
What was the thing? I'm sure with Sandy,
Vicky's
and they
pet.
had. Yeah. It's like them. They're not like key to the story. They're just to help move it along because he can't. Because Omega can't do it himself because he's no matter. No matter. What was it? No. I'm sure there's a song with no matter in
You
it.
thinking like no worries? No, no matter. Yeah. No matter.
It's been a long day.
Colin gets zapped, doesn't he?
What the fuck are you looking at?
My
love?
notes. It's a notebook, that's all.
Oh, it's just because it's close to the camera. It looked like you had. Okay, here's my notebook, but it was like,
Massive.
it looked like you had a massive plinth board. That you were like, and here is.
Oh, so yeah, Colin is zapped, and I've written these are odd friends. Oh, and then I've written who's waving the pencil. We've done that. Colin gets chickened. We've done that. Oh, we see President Barusa. So he was the guy from Invasion of Time, the one that Leela left in, but he's regenerated. So, but it's the same character. Oh, and I was reading about this. There was plans to have Leela in this, but she wasn't.
You can talk about Leela.
Yeah, but she wasn't available to do it. So a lot of what Nyssa does, Leela sort of would have done. And
Yeah.
this is,
Gives us some.
and actually, it's quite nice. Nyssa does quite a lot in this. And just having the Doctor and Nyssa for the majority actually works really well.
It does. I thought that. I thought it was a nice sort of story for them to be a pairing. Because you have that knowledge and you have that. And also, I think, like, it's a Time Lord. I feel like there's a respect in place, but an understanding. I don't know. I thought it was quite a good Nyssa story.
She's very trigger happy in this. She can't wait to get that gun, and she blasts a couple of guards. She's shooting people all over the place and grabbing the gun, and the Doctor gives her a bit of a... Towards the end, when she grabs the gun, the Doctor's like, oh, and she's like, oh, well, I need it. And then when she needs to shoot, when she's shooting that chicken thing at the end, that's when she can't shoot the gun properly. It's like, you've been shooting everyone this whole story.
That 100% would have been... Now you've said that would have been Leela.
Oh, of course it would be. I could see her at the end, that when she pushed...
I can see Leela would have done all that shooting. She was like a fighter.
Because when they're running away at the end of part 1, there's a guard about to get the Doctor, and Nyssa is behind and just pushes him over. And I don't know how she pushes him. He can't get up after that push. That was a big push. That's the kind of...
Yeah,
what I mean?
That would have all been Leela. Leela would have been like, I'm going to protect and defend, and that was her character. So it's interesting you've said that, because, like, I didn't know that, but now you've said that, I'm like, that makes sense.
It worked. She would have had a knife instead of the gun, wouldn't she?
Yeah, of course she would. She'd have had a gun, and she'd have been helping defend them to get to their point.
And then Nyssa and K9 would have met, and they're sort of like the same a little bit, so they would have got on really well.
Oh, yeah, God. Would K9 have been in it? Was K9 there?
Oh, Leela had a K9.
Of course she did, yeah. I forgot. No K9, though, this time.
No. But then we go back and forth a lot, and this annoys me as well. And I said this about, I think it was Kinder that I said this about. There's lots of cutting back. You have half a scene, and then it cuts to someone else, and then you have half a scene. And just as the scene's getting going, it goes back. It goes to someone else. It's really annoying, this style that they've got. I was going to look up if it was that same director or from that other one that annoyed me, but
It must be the script, though. It must be
or
the
just
script.
like the house style of how they produce it at the time. It's just like you're just getting into it, and then it's. But the Robin goes to the youth hostel, which they had booked in. He's upset because he can't find his friend, and just decides to leave and go to the youth hostel. He is so rude to the youth hostel lady. Can I just say, youth hostel lady is my favourite character in this. She's a bit of an Edith. She's just helping. She just wants to help out, and and she's just saying, "Oh, there's 2 of you booked in. Where's the other one?" And then he's so rude. He's like, oh, well, he's not coming. He's never coming back. Well, like, how is she supposed to know? He just has a massive go at her. I was like, that's so rude to poor youth hostel lady.
I don't think he was over rude. He's had a very stressful 24 hours, the guy. The guy was like in a crypt, and then his mate's gone missing, and things are a bit odd. And then he's met up and had to tell the bad news to the mate's cousin. And he's probably just a bit stressed, love.
Well, he doesn't get to meet Tegan. He only meets her because youth hostel lady is very helpful and says there was a message
No, he meets Tegan before, and then they go to the youth hostel. He meets her at the airport.
Oh no, but before he goes to youth hostel first, and then he goes back again later. And that's when, because he,
Are you sure? Because that can't be right. Because why did he?
He goes.
He went to youth hostel, and then the guy Collins left a letter.
Yeah, so she's like, oh no. So he goes to the youth hostel, and then she's like, oh, is that two of you checking in? And he's like, no, to her. And then she's like, oh, well, I only said that because there was a message saying that his cousin's going to meet him at the airport tomorrow. And he's like,
but they must have already checked in.
But no, he was checking it because he
Because
says.
why would he just go to a random youth hostel and go, here's a letter?
Yeah, but I don't know. Well, yeah, that is weird, because why did they go to the crypt? Why did they go to the crypt? Because she says, youth hostel lady is very helpful. She said, how many days are you going to stay? And he's like, oh, I don't know, a couple of days. And she's like, that's fine. I'm totally helpful. It doesn't matter how many days you need to stay.
Unless, the only thing I can think of is...
Well, they only had
Tegan booked it. So they weren't staying at all yet. Tegan had booked it.
Well, he doesn't know Tegan. He doesn't even know that. Oh,
No. But Tegan, they knew that Tegan was coming to visit her cousin.
yes, yeah.
She must have booked the hostel as a place to stay, and he left a note for Tegan in case she checked in before.
No, but I think the note was from. I think Tegan phoned up and was like, "My cousin's staying here. I'm going to be on this flight. Can you let him know?" Maybe they just didn't have availability.
I've no idea.
So maybe
I've no idea.
Crypt is day one, and then they were booked in on day two, but there was no availability on day one, maybe. But then,
I don't know.
But then he didn't want to book anyway because he didn't have a passport.
Yeah, so it doesn't make sense. I don't understand that. Someone explain it to us, please, because we're both a bit confused.
Anyway, she was very helpful.
Day 3, Mark's just going back to the days with Tegan because that's how he knows how to structure her storyline.
Yes. Back on Gallifrey, we have there is one good guy that helps them out, Damon.
Yeah.
He's very helpful.
Now Damon seems to know Leela.
Oh well, I think they're all going to know who Leela is because she's like the first person that's not from that planet staying and marrying Andred and that. He probably went to the wedding. He was probably like best man.
Okay, cool.
That's what I'm going to say. Damon was best man, Andred's best man at the wedding. Oh, and then K9 had the ring. It was like... Anyway, yeah, so Damon is cool. In part 2, so the Doctor and Nyssa are sort of, not captured, put on like TARDIS house arrest. And the Doctor's just in Nyssa's bedroom on the bed.
Yeah, but it's the only... it's apparently been a sanctioned room.
Well, it's got the lovely butterfly costumes that won a Oscar last time hanging up. There's a lamp. It's a bit sort of 80s Club Tropicana, Nyssa's bedroom, I feel.
It's very 80s.
Yeah, it's still got that wicker furniture, though.
Well, we all love a bit of wicker.
And actually, speaking of like sort of the look of everything, I think Gallifrey looks quite cheap. The Gallifrey bar, do you see everyone just sort of in a corridor? It's like a corridor bar thing, like a lobby. It's a bit... and all these just random sofas in corridors and things.
Oh, you hate that?
Yeah, it looks very cheap on Gallifrey.
It doesn't... I think it's because they've spent all their money being in Amsterdam.
Yeah, that's probably it. I mean, the filming, it looks lovely. 80s Amsterdam.
Yeah, 80s Amsterdam, yeah.
I liked when Tegan and Robin sat down and he was like explaining what happened. It was a little bit like Tegan invested, a bit like sort of, when Sarah Jane had her own thing. I could see Tegan having her own thing, being like, right, I'm going to investigate. Let's go and see what we can find out. I like that. That was a good scene in the little cafe. I would have liked more of that and less Time Lord stuff, I think. The guy that plays the one that we find out, spoilers everyone, it's Headin, it's the baddie. He played the toy maker.
Oh, did he? He was a good baddie. And also because just the scene before, he's like, "Well, you're going to use things," and he's like, instantly when she see him talking, like, "Well, this is the baddie." Like, I don't know, the reveal didn't feel like much of a reveal because there's like a scene before that's like, go and talk to the president and persuade him, and then the next scene is him persuading the president. It's like, okay, well, that's the guy. I would have liked a bit more of like, who is it? Who is it?
Yeah, I think I'm trying to remember because obviously I knew.
It was like, really, who is it? And then like, here you go.
Yeah. It's like, actually, we forget that now. We've done that bit. We just need to get on to the next bit.
You just need to know now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was married to Annika Wills at one point as well. Yeah. Oh, and speaking of which, Annika Wills news, I don't know if you're interested.
Are you going to tell me that she's not doing them anymore?
Yeah.
I know that.
How?
I've been sent it. Look. Everyone knows my feelings on it.
Oh my god. Well, there you go. She's not doing them anymore.
Yeah.
There you are.
What a loss. Moving swiftly on.
Well, then it's all about executing the Doctor, and it's all back and forth. We're going to get him when we're not, and everything. And we only find out it's Omega later on at the end of part 3 because he's in the credits. Is the Renegade? Is not anything else. What are you thinking about when you see this sort of who he's talking to, who Wavy Hand Man's talking to? You're just like,
I just thought it was another baddie. Like, I didn't think I know it was Omega and anything like that. Because it looks
completely different.
It was a nice sort of twist. It was nice, like, oh yeah, I remember that character. And but actually, the first time around, it felt really threatening, and this time around, it didn't.
It's a completely different look. It's a different actor. He's not that shouty, powerful. He was in his own world before and everything. And now,
I don't even think that was it. I think just the whole story was very bland.
Well, see, this is what I mean about sort of being a bit to the fans. It's all like, oh, we're going to see the Time Lords again. We're going to see Omega again. It's going to be all these references. And it's like, actually, there's not anything that interesting.
I want the threat of Omega. Because ultimately, it's a guy. I mean, first time around, it was a guy walking, but it felt threatening. It felt like this guy knows all this knowledge. He's going to end. He can, like, change everything, and he's crazy and he's absolutely mental, So, like, that felt like a thing last time, whereas this time it feels a little bit like, I don't know. Oh, sorry, beyond him. I don't know. That's how I feel about Omega.
Actually, the more of a villain is the guard, the Time Lord guard, Maxil, who is the main leader, like one with the feathery hat.
Max. Oh, yeah. He's great. He's really good.
Yeah.
He feels like he's the bad guy in it. And then you realise he's not because he's like, investigate this. And yeah, no, I thought all that was really good. That idea of like, you think you know him and actually he's just doing his job and he's very dedicated and stuff. But even then, just jumping, when he like breaks through and he's like, right, Doctor, I know you've been, and literally they go, no, you're wrong. And he's like, oh. It's very just, there's no build up to that. There's no like, I've caught you both together. And he goes, no, actually, it was that guy and this is it. And he goes, oh, okay. And then, oh, well, that was true. Like, no, he's very easy to back down.
And Nyssa is very involved in all the stuff with Damon. She has, I think at the end of part 2, someone's given her that crying stick because once the Doctor's executed, there's that close up and then all her makeup is sort of running a little bit, and that's the cliffhanger. Oh, poor Nyssa.
But she's pretty good. Like I said, she's really involved. I thought she was quite strong in this. She's trying to defend the Doctor. Then when he comes back, she's trying. It makes sense that this would have been Leela some of those moments as well. But I'm actually glad it's not. A little bit out of character, but it gives her lots to do to be involved in.
Yeah. Before Tegan comes back, she can have her time. Part 3's not great with all the wibbly wobbly effects. Obviously they're sat on like a sort of an office chair in green screen, just with their legs up and their arms up. It's not a great. I mean, it's
not great, but I don't hate it that much because I think it creates the effect that they're in a limbo. And what else can they do at that time? I mean, otherwise it would have just been floating.
No, but if we go back 10 years to the other Omega thing, the third Doctor went in limbo and fought that guy, and it was on film, and it was all coloured lights, and he had that sort of slow motion wrestle, and it was really effective.
He's not fighting or anything. He's just in limbo having a discussion.
Oh, I think it could have been done.
And also he doesn't know who he's having a discussion with. So Omega can't be there because he's still trying to work out who is doing this at that point.
I think they could have been a bit more creative with that. It's just, I don't know. I just don't like just pressing wibbly wobbly on the button on the computer in the 80s. And it's like fast, slow, you know. It's maybe they'll update that for the Blu-ray. I don't know. And then, well, part 4 is where at least something different happens. We've got an evil Doctor in a way because it's Omega. Peter Davison is. Why is it?
He was great. He was so good in it. In fact, I think seeing him playing that other part, I was like, he's a fucking great actor.
It's weird, isn't it? When we've had Nyssa, Tegan, and the Doctor now have had evil doubles so far. Why is it whenever they play, and even like the second Doctor and Salamander, why is it whenever the regulars get to play someone else, their acting level suddenly goes up really? Like,
he was so good. Like he obviously looked like him, but it was nothing like that character. And like he doesn't do anything or say anything. It gets more obvious as he's running around and his face is changing. I mean, literally, they put a different wig on the guy. Do you know what I mean? Like it's obviously not him. But like those initial things when he's with that kid and all that, it's so sinister.
Oh, I was going to talk about that scene. So those, what are they called? Those things? Do you remember those? You don't see them anymore.
Like Pension Judy sort of machines. Like
I loved those as a kid. Whenever there was one in the high street, I'd love to watch those. When they go like with the little xylophone things. They're great. There's if you look at the very beginning where you see like the crowd and the kids and stuff. There's 2 kids at the front that just look like you and me. The front. I'm going to send you a picture later. There's the first 2 kids you see are us. Absolutely,
oh God,
it's so funny.
And like, do you know what? That fits into my brother and sister analogy. I'm just saying. That's funny.
It's hilarious. But apparently that was supposed to echo. I mean, this is on TARDIS Wiki. Is it supposed to show there's a bit of sort of humanity there or something? He's seeing the,
I get that. It was really sinister, but I did think it was like a smirk of like, I'm a person and I'm alive again. And this is because like he doesn't injure anyone there. He's just sort of like taking in the enjoyment of a child enjoying. Yeah, I get that. I did think that. It's really sinister, but it's sort of that I get, there is sort of like a heart to it of like, and I'm real. He does it so well. He does it really well.
It's supposed to echo a bit like Frankenstein. In the original Frankenstein, when we watched that ages ago, and he sees that girl picking flowers or something, does he? And
yeah.
I think he accidentally kills her though, doesn't he? In that,
he does, yeah.
It's supposed to be like a bit like that sort of Frankenstein moment with the kid, sort of thing. So that was ages ago when we watched that. I'll send out that episode for Coffee members. So they can listen to us talk about the original Frankenstein if they want. But yeah, that's really well done. And it does wrap up fairly. I mean, it's just they just shoot him basically. All this run around, pointless, absolutely pointless. Apart from to show off Amsterdam.
I don't even want to talk about it because it's so frustrating and boring. So boring.
Yeah, and then when they find him, they just shoot him, and then we all go back to normal. But
my favourite bit is when she's like, "Oh, I guess I'm coming back with you," and he looks so unimpressed about it.
Yeah, I don't really know what that's about because, like, I know they argued a lot, and this is the first Fifth Doctor story we've had with no arguing.
He's just the way he delivers it. Everything about it's like great.
I think that the Doctor liked just travelling with Nyssa.
Yeah, I agree. Did they get on?
Oh yeah, absolutely. But then there's audio set directly afterwards with Tegan in, and there's one, and she comes back in the TARDIS, and she's like, "You've moved all my stuff. What's happened to my room?" And she's going off, so she's straight back into that. I mean, it's a shame that's not on TV, but it's really funny that the way there's actually an audio set directly at the end of this called "The Waters of Amsterdam," where there's a whole nother Amsterdam adventure as well, and there's a whole other Omega adventure as well straight after. Yeah, anyway, there we go. Nobody's interested.
What people are, Mark. It's just not me.
So there's just a lot of stuff that's come out of this story, if that's anything,
Yeah, I can imagine. Like, there's a lot to play with, and People love having the Time Lords and stuff.
But you don't see what happens to Tegan's cousin at the end.
No, we just know he's going to get better. He's in the hospital and he's going to get better.
They're a bit sort of non-characters, really, aren't they? Because it's like, obviously, zombie taken over. They're literally there to bring Tegan and the Doctor back together. That's the only reason.
And, have someone backpacking in Amsterdam, a reason for her to go there.
And it's a bit contrived that randomly her backpacking cousin in Amsterdam gets taken by Omega. Like, yeah. So, no, it's not the strongest opener of the season, but it was okay. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. So
yeah. Oh, well, there we go.
And it was okay for you. There you go.
Yeah, it's fine. Look, we've had worse. It's not going to be my best. I would happily take back some of the time that I watched that last episode of them just trudging around. If someone could give me those minutes back, that would be great.
We'll put this all as a compilation. It'll be them running around, the third Doctor on his speed bike for hours. All of that time, we'll put it all together and it will add up to a time at the end of all of these episodes.
When we finally do this, I'll be like, here's some time back, Sarah.
Well,
here's some life back.
Well, there we go. We are back. Season 20. Let's go. Well, the next story is 4 episodes. And it's called Snake Dance.
Snake Dance? That's intriguing. I think... Oh, I wonder if they'll go back to... Where's Nyssa from?
Oh, Traken.
Traken, yeah. I wonder if... Because Traken was where that snake was, wasn't it? Oh, no, it wasn't.
No, I was like, what are you talking about? No, that was on Devaloka. That was in the jungle.
Yeah. So, but I don't think it'll be anything to do with that. Okay, I don't know. I think there'll be a snake.
Well, actually, no, you were sort of like Traken had a bit of trees, and the snake one had trees. I can see how that. We can see how it comes together.
Trees. The trees. There were trees. There's trees in a lot of fucking stories, Sarah, but sure, there's trees.
In the meantime, you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at 2WatchWho, or you can support us at buymeacoffee.com/2WatchWho.
Thank you, everyone that does.
Thank you. And, someone got in touch. And actually, this episode hasn't gone out yet, the last one, but I said about doing, 90 stories. Oh, and someone got in touch and was like, are you going to do the 90 stories? And listed out pretty much all the ones that I was thinking of doing. So there you go.
Gotta do it.
Yep.
Thanks, everyone.
We won't mention it again for ages.
Well, for the 80s, at least.
No. Okay, we'll see you then. Bye.
Bye.
To watch who?